So, Bobby, I wonder if you'll be able to guess whose joke this is. Recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his.
Yes, very funny. Yes.
I swear,
good.
my jokes are getting
Very
less
good,
funny,
Misha.
not more.
Yeah, yes, very good, Misha.
I mean, it is funny.
It's like when a child hands you their first drawing, you just can't insult it. Okay, also, for today, you were down here, that's up there, because, you know, my computer is a toaster, and it cannot handle looking at you and
What are you talking about right now?
video and recording in general. You're here on phone. Let me say it in simpler sentences so you understand. You here on phone, that there on computer.
Yes,
No.
Same here. You on phone, me on computer. This good setup.
So I'm just saying. Do I stare at you here? I don't think that's a very good idea, because then I'm just gonna be looking at my crotch on the recording for the entire thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you can look at the camera, looking at the camera is better. You know, glance at me when you glance at me.
Yeah. Okay.
Me, I positioned my phone directly below the camera, and I'm relatively far away, so it shouldn't look too obvious whether I'm looking at the phone or at the camera.
Yeah. Well, mine is there. Okay. Well, all right. Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna stare into the beautiful eyes of our audience.
Right, and all I see is your neck, but it's fine.
Okay, well, welcome to another episode of Tea Biscuits. I'm Bobby, that's Misha.
And I'm Misha.
Say hello, Misha. He's very happy to be here. I'm kidding.
Yes, it's exciting. I'm a guest on this new show Bobby invited me to. What is it called again?
I'm kidding.
Chai and Crumpets?
I think, are you in a good mood?
I'm in a fantastic mood. Are you?
Yeah, so am I, which is like seeing a unicorn, really, nowadays. When I'm in a good mood, the world smiles and everyone loves each other, and I'm happy, which is most important. So today, we're gonna be, honestly, this is probably the most freestyle thing we've done, which is tell each other about cool shit we know.
But the other guy doesn't.
Yeah.
So I have Haitian zombies lined up, and you have Hieronymus Bosch, and some toll riding school.
You'll find out about that. And I had something else too. And a little bit of... Do you want to hear about the math?
What's the polite response here?
No. Sure. Okay. So no, you don't. Okay. Well, no complex analysis today. I'm sorry. Just had my final. I'm telling that's why I wanted to tell him about this thing. I just had my final today on it, and it went pretty well, I believe. So, yeah. Hence the good mood. But all right, I think you should go first with your thingamabobs.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's something I read about quite recently, and it was so new that it surprised me. So, what comes to your mind, Bobby, when you think of zombies?
Just The Walking Dead. I'm boring.
Yeah, Walking Dead, probably green, maybe rotting, gruesome, apocalypse, that kind of thing.
Also, I'll tell you about those. Yeah, go on.
Mm-hmm. But really, the word zombie is a word from Haitian Creole. So Haiti, as you know, is half of the Hispaniola island, the western half of it. Yeah, it has a long history in Haiti. And in fact, interestingly enough, you can go to Haiti right now and meet zombies, which fit the Haitian definition of zombie. So it's not a mythical creature. It's not a legend. It's an actual, living, breathing entity. Which is pretty interesting. Okay, but what are Haitian zombies? So they have a unusual mythology there in Haiti, where you'll notice it's one of the only places in the world that buries the dead the way they do. So when a person dies, he is usually buried in a heavy cement casket above ground. And
that's much like... Sorry. Go on.
No. Chip in. I don't want to monologue too much.
It's much like... and I mean, it reminds me of a dark thing, but it reminds me of Holocaust memorial areas. Those tend to be the
That's
same.
not very cheerful.
No, it's not. But don't they do the same?
What do you mean?
I haven't been to the Auschwitz
I'm pretty sure they're
Memorial.
not graves there. They're just slabs with names as memorials. Because most of the times you either don't have bodies or cannot identify bodies in that case.
South American cultures, even today, have interesting ways of burying their dead. Like in Mexico, I saw was pretty peculiar. You finish your thing and I'll tell you about that.
Sure. So, there are many reasons why they bury their dead that way, but one of them is to avoid zombification. So, what is the folktale surrounding zombies is that it's linked to Haitian voodoo. And voodoo, as you know, or might know, is a West African religious and hocus pocus set of beliefs and rituals. And so it stands to reason that it survives in one form or another in West Africa and everywhere with large concentration of people from West Africa. So think the American South, where they have their own mutated brand of voodoo concentrated around New Orleans. And there's also Haitian voodoo, because just as with the American South, a lot of Haitians were brought to work on plantations on the Hispaniola island. And according to Haitian voodoo, the evil practitioners of the art, because it's a bit like the Force from Star Wars, there are good users and evil users with different abilities.
Hell yeah.
And the evil users are called bokors. Which, funnily enough, you'll notice that a lot of these terms have French-sounding names. That's because Haitian Creole is a mix of their ancestral West African dialects and French. It's pretty cool. And these bokors are said to break into caskets of recently dead people, so within 24 to 48 hours, take them out, give them some kind of special chemical to bring them back to life, and they come back, but their brain doesn't wholly come back, and so they come back fully obedient to the bokor, and are set to work on the bokor's farm. Interestingly enough, a quirk to this is that they are not supposed to be given salt. If you give salt to a Haitian zombie, he stops being obedient.
That's why in do I go there? Do you want me to go there?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
It's about One Piece.
Sure, go there. I watched half of one episode of One Piece, but go ahead.
You did? When?
You talked about it so much, I tried to check it out.
Did I make you watch? Yeah.
Probably gets better afterwards, but 10 minutes in, I wasn't hooked, so I moved on.
Fair enough. You know what? Not fair enough. It takes a bit to appreciate One Piece. There's a lot of it. There's over 1,000 episodes.
I might revisit it in the summer. 1,000 episodes is a bit intimidating, though.
Yeah, it's a lot. Listen, people are like, "Oh, I'm on episode 280. You just started. You just started. Yeah, that's nowhere. 289, right. You barely see. Anyway, that's why in One Piece, in the zombie arc, the way they dispel. Or rather defeat them is that they stab them or injure them or put salt in their mouths. So they have salt rubbed on their blades and they put salt in their mouths, and then the shadow, I won't explain it, the shadow leaves them and they stop being zombies. So that's probably why then.
Right.
I didn't know that there was research behind that, and that's most likely because the author, he he puts a lot of real world. He remixes a lot of real world stuff, so that's cool. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. But don't know how it happens in One Piece. But there, the zombies do not make anything resembling a full recovery, so they are believed to still be mentally severely handicapped, but no longer forced into obedience. So often that ends up with them either running away or killing the Bokor. And that's the legends. And you think, okay, cool, whatever, why should I care? Every culture has their own legends. Some believe in unicorns, some, the Icelanders, believe in elves, and the Haitians believe in zombies. Boo-hoo, so what? But that's not the end of the story, that's the beginning, because it gets more interesting and it gets weirder. Because if you open the Haitian Penal Code, there will actually be the actual crime of zombification, so the crime of turning someone into a zombie. And it's counted equivalent to first-degree murder and is given the death sentence.
That's interesting. Oh, that's cool.
And by the way, soliciting zombification, so paying a Bokor to zombify someone, is also equivalent to first-degree murder.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, now let's.
I was gonna say something about the South American burial tradition. So when I was in Mexico once, I remember visiting this cemetery, and the way they dealt with their dead there was extremely contrary to what we're used to. So I believe most people's remains were above ground and actually on display. So some
did
of
they
them
prepare them somehow so they don't rot?
So some of them were more of, if I remember correctly, rather a collection of bones behind either, my memory is a bit hazy on this part, I think behind glass, but like on these little shelves of like stone or some kind of stone-like substance. They were like kind of shelved like this, and the stone or the concrete, I don't actually know what they were made of, some kind of hard thing. They were very ornamental, I believe, and they were painted, and there were a lot of inscriptions and words everywhere. And there was no one uniform method of I remember treating the remains. So some were very covered, yes, but the big thing was that the cemetery was very colorful, and everything looked to be above ground, so nothing was down in there. And I personally found it very cool.
Interesting.
The color.
Were there any unpleasant odors associated with all this?
Absolutely not. No. So they don't leave their dead that out in the open, but skeletons seem to be out more than anything, which was a bit interesting. Right. But personally, I thought the idea of a colorful cemetery is very, very good. So I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know how cemeteries functioned in Renaissance Paris?
No.
They were the equivalent of parks. People would come on the weekend with a picnic basket to a cemetery. They would play badminton there. They would sit there, have their lunch, visit some relatives, but that was an incidental thing. It wasn't the purpose of the trip.
Interesting.
I mean, there's something sweet about this, no?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's actually nice. I'm a fan of making cemeteries colorful. So
right,
yeah, yeah, I think it's cool. Would like South American burial traditions seem interesting and unique and cool to me. So
right.
Moving on.
Let me get back to the story because interesting bits starts. There is a lot more.
Okay.
So you think, okay, still just fun trivia. Sure, they might have it's criminalized in the law, but it doesn't actually happen. Well, according to the criminal justice department of Haiti, there are estimated to be between 1,000 and 2,000 controlled zombies at any one time. And we have pretty good proof that it actually happens. So, let's see. I could start with the known occurrences, or I could start with the methods behind how it actually works, because both of them are fascinating. What do you think I should start with?
Known occurrences.
Any preference? Right. So, I read a study in The Lancet on Haitian zombification, and there they brought up 3 people. And what becomes apparent really quickly is that a zombie in Haitian society is a social class, a social role, which people with severe mental disabilities often find themselves fitting into. So, in all 3 of those cases, there was a family member who died young, and then 20 years or 10 years or sometimes 5 years later, but a relatively long period of time later, a person is found wandering into the village with severe disorientation and memory loss, who vaguely, kind of, if you squint at him, resembles the deceased person. And they are usually brought into the family and taken good care of. And the family genuinely believes it's their departed loved one who unfortunately was zombified and is brought back to them. Sometimes, however, they don't really believe that, but actively they believe it because it is essentially a form of acts of charity. All 3 of those people were examined, and 2 of them were found to be to have just normal signs of severe mental illness. One had severe schizophrenia. Are you there, Bobby? Your picture
listening.
froze.
Is it my still frozen?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay.
One had severe schizophrenia. The other had a mix of very strong fetal alcohol syndrome and depression. But the third one actually gets interesting, because the third one is the only one of those 3 that actively said that, yes, I was revived by Boker and kept on the plantation. The other 2 just passively agreed to the stories when they were offered. The third one is the only one that actually said those stories out loud. And on examination, the third one, who was a woman, was found to have brain damage associated with oxygen deprivation, which you would find if you spent a day in a concrete casket, and scar marks from chains around the wrists. So that all points to there being something real behind it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so then that same Lancet article followed up with, anonymously of course, known Bokors who went into a bit of the methodology behind it. And essentially, what's cool is that they don't act like vagabonds or lone criminals, but as fixers for hire, essentially. So all of them act basically only when the family or the village pays for their services. This woman, side note, who was found with those symptoms, was a troublemaker and refusing to marry who the family said she should marry, and was generally known for being a bit rowdy around the village. So it would stand to reason why there would be those who wanted to get rid of her. And yeah, essentially, step 1, paralyzing toxin, which is usually derived from a species of pufferfish native to Haiti. Then they're put in the casket, and the casket is broken into, and they are given what is it called? Jasper weed, a plant with that is a depressant, but a mental depressant, not a physical one. So it's like alcohol, but it doesn't affect your coordination. And so they're kept under this control. And the main theory as to why salt is involved is because Jasper weed is actually very difficult to detect by taste. So it stands to reason that the Boker would have to prepare 2 separate dishes. one of them without salt, where he puts Jesperweed and why without salt, so that he will know if he tastes the wrong one. So he doesn't accidentally eat the bad one. Which is really cool.
Damn, okay. Huh. That was
a big rabbit hole.
That was very interesting. Yeah. You know, I often think about if the world had that kind of voodoo, or rather supernatural aspect to it. I don't know. It's strange. Like, I wonder what kind of place the world would be then. I really don't. I don't believe in any sort of this thing, because if it really were real, then we wouldn't stop fucking hearing about it in most cases.
Sure. I'm not convinced that nothing supernatural is real, but I have yet to see good evidence for any specific event. So I know there are those who would say that it's categorically impossible. I'm not one of them. I think it's completely possible, but just haven't seen good evidence for any specific event.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially with like hexing people and like the voodoo stuff. I really don't.
Keep in mind, the placebo effect is very powerful. So if you believe that you are hexed, there will be strong physical symptoms associated with it.
Yeah. Okay.
There was that study in the Soviet Union decades ago where they took volunteers, showed them heating up a ruble coin so it was glowing hot, and then it was as if they were going to press it onto the skin, and in the last moment it was switched for a cool coin. And many of the participants still developed skin damage that visually resembles a burn, because they believed they were going to be burned. Under inspection, it was closer to a rash, but it didn't look like a burn, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, placebo can go a long way, I guess.
So tell me about the horse school.
The horse school. So this is a little brochure. So if you go to if any of you have ever been to Vienna or are going or have never been to Vienna, then most likely you're going to go to the I want to say it's the Hofburg. Main palace. I'll call it main palace. And
is that where the archdukes used to live? The Kaisers.
Yes. Well, they lived in many places.
But was that their primary residence then?
Yes, I think it was. But with royalty, you don't really have like primary residence, because they like to spend time maybe a lot at like their not primary residence. So like Sisi, for example, really liked her countryside villas. She was around a lot. She also really liked Budapest.
She spent a lot of time in Budapest, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She really liked Budapest. And like countryside villas in Hungary. So primary residence, I think, is a bit like official primary residence. Yes, I toured the inside. But anyway, near the Hofburg, there's you'll find stables with white horses. Now these white horses are Lipizzaner in English.
Lipizzaner.
They're Lipizzaner horses. And they're bred very particularly. They're very expensive, very high breed of horses. And what that place is the Spanish. How do I translate Hofreitschule?
High riding school.
Yes, the high horse riding Spanish school. That's not right.
That's where you ride Spanish horses while high.
The Spanish high horse riding school. What this place is it's a traditional and very, very prestigious riding school where they ride and train Lipizzaner horses exclusively. So a couple interesting facts about this place. It looks like this. This is a pretty accurate representation.
We can put better pictures, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll put better pictures.
Can I give a better zoom? Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like an opera house for horses.
Basically, couple interesting things about this place. Most people have to stand to watch the show. The show, which doesn't happen too often in the year and is very hard to get tickets for and expensive. Most people have to stand in these areas here. And
in the pit.
The seats are located directly in front here, so you're down at the bottom watching it head on. I actually managed to get seats. Well, not me, but I happened to sit there, and not for a official show, but for a training show, which is, I think, just as good. Yes, and they do really, really cool. They do really, really cool choreographies with the horses. They make them jump in all sorts of ways. There's also something called a pas de deux, which is in French. I don't know what it means, but I know what it implies.
The way you said it, I don't know what you were trying to say in French. Pas de deux, thing of two.
Yeah, basically, thing of two, where it's a routine. It's one of the hardest routines, where you essentially have two master riders, on their horse each, and the routine is a special dance where the horses mirror each other completely.
Wow.
And it's a whole 10-minute routine. Yeah. And originally, the reason why this is called how the fuck do I translate this? The Spanish
high riding school.
This is so bad. Okay, we'll have to look this up later.
Just call it the fancy Vienna stable.
The fancy Vienna riding school. Originally, you had these Lipizzaner horses, and this style of riding developed and used in Spain in the 1500s.
So are they a Spanish breed, Lipizzaners?
Yes, I think they are.
I always thought they were an Austrian breed.
And also, I believe the riding style was developed in Spain, and then the empire the Habsburgs buddied with the local royalty and brought it home to Vienna, where it has been for a long, long time. This is all in German. I've read it over once.
The prep we do.
And I'm terrible at the dates. But it's been there for a while. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. There's also some other stuff about the horses.
I've ridden Lipizzaners a lot in the past, and you know what's interesting about the breed?
They are not white when they are born. They are gray.
That's true.
And
they are kind of beautiful dappled gray. Yeah. They're gray with white spots on them. It's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, you can recognize a Lipizzaner. They have some of the biggest heads among horses, and particularly a very long and pronounced snout. But what's interesting about them is that they have one significant disadvantage over most other breeds, is that many of them can't gallop. So, as you know, a horse usually has 4 speeds: walking, trotting, canter, and gallop.
Mm-hmm.
Icelandic mini horses have a 5th speed between trot and canter, which is rather fascinating. Yeah. I've wanted to ride one for a while, but last time I tried, I was too heavy for the poor guy, so couldn't get it to that speed.
Okay.
Yeah. But Lipizzaners cannot gallop with exceptions. Some of them can, but a large fraction cannot. So they're larger speed as the canter, which is rather fascinating. But there are some advantages in comparison. So they have some of the smoothest canters you will see. So usually, when a horse is cantering, what?
How the fuck do you know this shit? I don't know this.
I've ridden them quite a lot.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, go on. Yeah. So,
I mean, you're the one who prepared, so let's just call this your knowledge that I'm speaking for you.
I've just been here and read this brochure once, like 6 months ago.
Sure.
I don't remember much. Yeah, go on.
Right. So, as you know, when a horse is cantering, it's a 3-step signature. It's outer foot, outer front foot, inner front foot, then the back 2 feet. It's bum. And what you have with Lipizzaner is often a 2-step signature. So it's outer front foot, then the back 2 feet, and the inner front foot land at the same time, which feels much smoother. So instead of, because usually when it's 3-step, you get constant oscillations back and forth, and so it's not very comfortable, especially when you're doing a standing canter, because it exerts quite a lot of pressure onto your hips. But that way, it's really fun. It's like riding a wave. It's fascinating.
Okay. Also, these horses, these Lipizzaner horses, take absolute years to train. So
I can confirm.
Several decades.
It's insane. Well, not several decades. They only live for 30 years, so it's not. They don't have to. But yeah, you don't get them fully trained until they're like 12 years old.
I think more, if I remember correctly.
At 12, they're still feisty. They don't get mellow until 15. Yeah.
They're not a very mellow breed. Like, I remember there was one horse in particular that at the training show. Like, keep in mind, these horses, well, here in the school, they train them daily. They're trained daily, every single day. Mm-hmm. They're taken out.
As you should do with every horse, by the way. Okay. Over in other stables, I saw a contraction that automatically walks horses. So it's a circle with sections fenced off, where you put one horse in each section, and the circle starts spinning, and the horse has no choice but to keep up. So it first goes at a walking speed, then trotting, then a canter. It's so that the horses get their exercise in, even when there's no one to ride them.
Oh my god, my computer just went on sleep mode. Jesus Christ.
Is your video still running?
Yeah, it's still going. I was gonna say something. Yeah, no, so, yeah, the horses are really feisty, because, like, we were there at the training show, and, like, one of the extremely elite riding school, right? The general, like, batch of horses, super well behaved, obviously, they really know what they're doing, but, like, there was one that was, like, particularly moody. You could see they were, like, pouty and bitchy when they were being taken around on the, you call it a field, the whole, the little.
There's a fancy word for it that starts with M that I can't remember right now.
Yeah, that. And there was one really funny bit I remember when they took that particular horse off, and then when it was and when it was being let off, it neighed super loud from the background, and then you had so many horses on the place neigh back in unison. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but horses are adorable.
Horses are adorable. Do you know that we generally can only domesticate social animals because we can just fit into their pre-established social structure? We cannot really domesticate solitary animals very well.
Yes, without breeding them. I mean, like,
even with breeding, we haven't.
Breeding.
Yeah, even with selective breeding, we haven't really managed to domesticate any solitary animal. The closest you're reading my mind. The closest we get is hawk, but we don't domesticate hawks.
I was gonna say foxes, actually. That there's been some success in domesticating foxes to some extent.
That's true. It's there is a fox farm over in Russia, started by a biologist 80 years ago, and it's for 80 years it has had the sole purpose of developing more friendly foxes, and it was essentially to answer the simple question: what are the physical attributes associated with domestication? because it's a difficult question to answer. Because you look at a dog and it's quite different from a wolf. Even the most wolf-like dogs are clearly not wolves. You take Yori, no one would mistake my Japanese Akita for a wolf, despite everyone saying that he does look like a wolf, but yeah. And so the question is, which of those features were selectively bred for because they're useful, and which of them are just natural products of domestication? And the result with this thought experiment is proving to be very interesting, because what we get is very good confirmation of the neoteny theory. So, neoteny is when adult animals are less developed than they should be, and that's an evolutionary trait. So, for example, we humans are neotenized apes, because you look at a very young chimpanzee, it'll have very similar facial morphology to us. And then, over time, as it matures, it develops massive jaws, and prognasticism, so that means snoutiness, and adult chimpanzees don't look very human anymore. And so, yeah, we neotenize over time. And what we found with these foxes is that positive domestication traits, such as passivity and obedience, are directly linked with other childlike and infantile features. So they start looking like adolescent and then childlike foxes over time. So their ears become shorter and rounder, their eyes become bigger, and their feet become stubbier, which is really cute.
And also, I don't know what kind of chimps you've been looking at, but these look pretty chimpy to me, these baby chimps.
Look at a side-on view of the face and how much more human it looks, so it doesn't have the prognasticism.
Well,
let me try and find a picture.
Well, I mean, your ears are massive still.
I wasn't talking about the ears. I've seen plenty of people with massive ears.
Born with the ears of an old man.
Have a look at this. We might have this picture put in the chat as well, because it illustrates my point. But where the hell are you? There. This. Have a look at this. This is an adolescent chimp, and strip away the ears, the hair.
That's a full fucking chimp. That's not an adolescent chimp.
It's an adolescent chimp. The way you can tell is because it doesn't have the snoutiness. So an adult chimp will have very pronounced snoutiness. So let me show you the difference. So here is an adult chimp and how much... how different it looks. Badumps. Do you see the...
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Sorry.
By the way, chimps are ripped. Have you ever seen chimps when they're molting and don't have fur?
Yeah.
They just look like bodybuilders.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, that's why chimps are dangerous. They're fun. They're I have a friend that had a pet chimp once, and he keeps telling me about all the fun. It's just like little low IQ bro, basically. Well, it's like honest. Not even that. It's like they just can't talk. They're just like a little bro, and they do so many like human-like things, and you're like, what the hell? And it's like really cool apparently, and they're smart and stuff. And they can prank you.
I just have so many questions now about guy who owns chimp.
I'll tell you about it later.
Fair enough, yeah. I have a friend who has a pet tiger, which is terrifying.
That's cool. That's lit. I wouldn't mind that. Come home and I'm like, hey, what's up?
You actually know the guy, but you might not know about his tiger.
I know who it is. I know who it is then. Don't say that. We'll talk.
Probably should. Well, yeah, I shouldn't say anything about him on the record, but you know who I am talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, but yeah, since we mentioned them, gonna was gonna quickly mention hawks and how we never truly domesticated hawks, which is interesting. Have a couple of buddies who do hawking, and I've been wondering whether I should try getting into that over the summer. Sounds fun.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I wouldn't mind either.
Yeah, I'd invite you along. That should be fun as hell.
Yes, I'll go too, and we can talk about our hawking experiences on here.
Yeah. Anyway, and the thing about hawks is that you never truly have any developed attachment with the hawk. So you take a dog. Usually, you're recommended to train a dog when the dog is hungry, which stands to reason. But then the dog will still obey you when it's not hungry. It'll still obey you even when you're not in a position of dominance. So if you have a well-trained dog, you can be lying on the ground, which is a position of subservience in the dog's mind. You can be lying on the ground and give him the sit command and he'll still obey. It might be a fraction more difficult, but it's very much possible. With the hawk will only obey you if there's something in it for him. So the key aspect to keeping hawks is weight management. So every day in the morning, you weigh your hawk. And depending on the species, it's for bigger hawks, it's a 10-gram range. And for smaller hawks, it's a 1 to 2 gram range in which it will obey you. If it weighs less than that, it'll be too hungry and it'll just fly to food immediately, not caring for anything you say. If it's too full, it won't give a shit about what you say. Yeah. And if you, during training, feed the hawk too much, then you want him to fly back to your glove. He just won't until he's hungry again, because there's no point to do so.
So, is it falcons or hawks? No, it's falcons that are able to dive that fast, right?
Yes. Well, in hawking, the word hawk is a general term for any bird of prey used for the sport. But so within those hawks, there are true hawks, there are falcons, and then there are buzzards. And falcons, yes, they are dive hunters. So they fly very high and then they dive down onto prey. And falcons generally are used to hunt other birds. And in modern times, falcons especially are a showpiece, because stuff that they hunt is generally not stuff you particularly want to eat. So I don't know about you, but crow and bluebird don't sound very appetizing. But it's beautiful to watch, apparently.
Crows are cute. Hot take, crows are cute. I have a crow plushie.
Crows are cute.
I like them. So, there's this funny ass video on the internet, because crows mimic human sounds and just sounds like parrots do.
They're just as good as parrots, by the way.
I know, yeah. There's this video where it's imitating a car horn, and it's just like walking out like it's like in a parking lot. It's hilarious. But okay, yeah. Do you think you want to end it there, by the way?
Yeah, I was gonna just quickly say
it's been an hour.
The key features of buzzards and true hawks, but
true blood.
Yeah, true hawks are essentially the ones that fly through dense woodland. You think of them as the fighter jet, so they can maneuver in very tight spaces. And they're often called kitchen hawks because they're the ones that actually bring you good stuff. So that'll be pheasants, who are mainly a ground bird. That'll be hares. Yeah. And then there are buzzards, who just take stuff by lateral speed. So falcons are actually pretty slow when flying horizontally forward, while buzzards are extremely fast but bad divers. So give them an open field, they'll just overtake anything.
Interesting. Cool. I didn't know that.
But it's a terrifying sport. A friend of mine spent 3 days walking around the forest trying to find the hawk that flew away from him.
Okay. Shit. Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Well, hawking sounds interesting.
Yeah. It does. Right. How did we get onto hulking? No idea.
But it was probably good.
Do we want to end it here?
Yeah, let's end it here. Next episode, and I'm done with my exams by then. So next episode is an actual Promethean Onion episode. Whoa! Not just and
we're having help with our research, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we have our little think tank. That's gonna be, we're gonna be brewing concoctions in metaphorically. And what did we decide it's gonna be on?
It's gonna be on the problem of evil.
Evil, yes. It's gonna be on the problem of evil. It's gonna be very fun, very gang, very lang. Wait, can I say that? I don't actually know what that means. So I might have. I'll look up what that actually means, and then I'll tell our editor whether or not to keep that in. But yeah, okay.
Keep it in either way, because if it's doesn't fit the situation, it's even funnier.
I just don't know what it means. It's like that. I don't know. Okay. All right. Thank you for tuning in to another Promethean Onion episode. I was Bob. That was Misha.
I was and remain Misha.
He remains Misha, and we'll see you this week. Actually, we'll see you. Well, no, that's a lie.
What?
Wait.
We don't release twice in a week. We'll see in a week after this releases.
We record this week again, but
this week, but it comes out next week.
See you. Who knows when? Next time. All right. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.